I think everybody knows that old expression, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Make the best with what you got. But in Marvel Snap, here's a new expression. When Marvel Snap gives you a lemon like Attuma, make a destroyer deck. On Series 3 cards, I can't complain too much. My RNG has been pretty good. I've got a couple good cards. But on Series 4, the only two cards I got is M'Baku and Attuma. I haven't figured out how to use M'Baku yet, but I want to show you what I did with Attuma. So on the screen right now, we've got a basic ongoing destroyer deck. I felt like Attuma would fit in perfect here. Take out Warpath, put in Attuma. What you do is you take one lane with Professor X, one lane with Destroyer. If you get really bad RNG, you don't pull any good cards, you've got Spectrum there to buff all those ongoing cards. Even with a bad hand, you can usually win with an ongoing destroyer deck. A lot of people are taking it to infinite. Of course, my brain's a little bit warped. I got to be different than most people. I put together an on-reveal destroyer deck with my Attuma. I've got an 80% win rate. I want to show it to you and try to convince you to give this deck a try. So let's quickly run down these cards. Armor is there for Attuma. That stops Attuma from blowing up if it isn't in a lane by itself. Colossus won't get blown up by Destroyer. Lizard is just a nice value card for 2 cost. Electro will let you play your big cards earlier. I'll give you an example. I just played a game. Turn 3 Electro. Turn 4 Hobgoblin that really hurt this one opponent's lane. Turn 5 Destroyer. I'm playing Hobgoblin and Destroyer 1 turn early because of Electro. And then I finish up with Taskmaster, who duplicated the 15 points from Destroyer. Really a nice game. Electro is optional. You don't have to have it, but I like it in my deck. I've been having a lot of problems with bad locations, so I use Storm to change the location if I really hate it. It's optional, but I like it. Cosmo will neutralize Destroyer. If you pair up Cosmo and Destroyer, you get his 15 points without the negative of destroying other cards. Attuma works so good with Professor X, it almost guarantees your Professor X is going to work with that 10-point head start that Attuma gives you. Hobgoblin, if you don't draw good cards like Professor X, he's another attack against your opponent. Taskmaster, like we talked about before, can duplicate a Destroyer or Attuma to give you those extra points. We talked about Professor X before. Hopefully Professor X will always take a lane for us. Doctor Doom, in that spot, I've tried Spider-Man and Iron Man. If everything goes wrong, I'm using Doctor Doom to put extra points in every lane. And of course, I win a lot of games with Destroyer and Colossus. Those 18 points, a lot of games will win a lane for you. So with an on-reveal deck, you lose that last turn Spectrum play, but I think you gain a lot of advantages too. Like I said before, I've got a higher win percentage with on-reveal Destroyer. I don't see a lot of people trying it. You might be able to surprise some people. Okay, we'll pick this game up on turn 2. I don't have any turn 1 cards. I played Lizard. For turn 3, we're going to try to start to set up our Destroyer lane. And then just to give you a recap like we talked about 2 minutes ago, what I would like to see is Cosmo and Destroyer in one lane, Professor X and Attuma in another lane, and of course whatever else I can add on. Marvel Snap will never make it that easy. They're going to redo my cards right now because the location on the right. Okay, I didn't get hurt too bad by that reshuffle. So now we're going to start our Attuma lane in the middle. We use armor to protect Attuma. And then we'll pile on as many points as we can. 10 points isn't going to win you a lane. And I didn't want to see a Professor X from my opponent in my destroyer lane. But can you see how this deck, the third location redid the cards. My opponent's playing a Professor X. But even with all that, this deck is strong enough and flexible enough it can still win some games for you. So if you get a chance, give me a like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. That all helps my YouTube algorithms.